Hi, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Seth, and this is The Forever Young Show. The most powerful force in this world is a woman who knows who she is, why she is here, and what she wants to accomplish.
And that's where self-care comes in. As a woman, it is my opportunity and my responsibility to take care of me.
Self-care for your mind.
Self-care for your body.
Self-care for your money.
Our mission is to serve women as they fulfill their irreplaceable roles in families, society, business, the fabric of humanity.
So let's get this show on the road.
You know, today was so fascinating. Driving back from church, you know, you get so many gifts by going to church, as you pray, as you just look at everybody and you're so grateful, you pray for others. And it's so fascinating, Steph, that I'm getting home and I hear like a voice that says, Flo, drive by where the tree of the avocados is. And I went, thank you, Lord. This is fascinating. I see that there are at least about 20 up there, and I'm looking at the ground. I parked the car, and I say, I love Mother Nature. I mean, you're pristine, you're near a creek, and this is the gift that you're giving me today. I love it. And then I decided, why not do a video and tell the world, take care of it. You know, it's precious. So my gift today to the world was what was given to me, I gave it back. So it was really fascinating. You know, that cycle of going to church, all of a sudden you hear a voice that tells you, stop by because you know that that's there. My moment was today to get my avocados. Right there for me waiting.
Oh, I love it. I was reading a friend's post this morning about how she and her husband plan on going to the gym. And she went to drop her daughter off and she was like, actually, maybe I should just go right now. It's right next to my daughter's school. I can just go in and do it quickly. And she said she went in there and she noticed somebody walking by that had a yoga mat. She's like, oh yeah, they do yoga here. And she was like, oh, but it's the class already started. I'm going to be late. Oh wait, that girl's late too. I should go with her. You know, go at the same time. And then she said that she went in and had an amazing yoga class. And afterwards, the teacher was, you know, introducing herself to her. And she said, are you Allie? I cannot remember how to pronounce her last name. Duzette or something. And she was like, yes, I am. And she's like, I prayed you here this morning to her class.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
I have to tell you both a beautiful story that came to me yesterday. Right after Seth was talking to a group of people yesterday at the event, and he was telling the story about Hannah, your daughter. And I got a message that was so beautiful, and it was that it was not the card. Hannah inspired and gave confidence to the audience. It was not the card. It was that a beautiful girl has a burning desire to help others, to show them that they can live better. And because of that, she has so much confidence that she can do that. So she is creative. Her creativity is limitless. So that's what confidence turns in, right? So by you, Seth, telling that story yesterday, and then at the end, having everybody asking for the card, and then I got home and I was thinking about it, and I said, it was not really the card. It was the story that gave confidence to this audience that if she can do it, I can do it. Isn't that amazing? I thought it was so beautiful. Really beautiful. Really beautiful. So I got that message last night and I said, I can't wait to tell Stephanie and Seth, because that's what confidence is. And stories is what really create like a change in our lives, because it can inspire you. You can relate to them. In I think most important, when we listen to a story and we realize that because learning from it will make you a better person. And then being a better person, brings a change, growth, and that is beautiful. And I think that in my journey in life, when I look at, I'm 68 years old, and I look at my life, and I'm so incontent with myself. I am so happy. The word that I can use is I'm joyful. I am grateful. I am inspired because I have captured the essence of life. And the essence of life is just a mere action that you do every single day. It can be as simple as putting down your window in your car and saying, "Ma'am, can I help you?" If she even says, "Oh, no worries." But just by doing the little things that will make another person feel that I am present in life, I am loved by others. And that abundance, I never felt it before. And to think that before, I used to be in the corporate world. I used to wake up every day and go to work. And just because I had more sales, or just because we did better in numbers, I thought that was an accomplishment. And to me today, there's no accomplishment there, because nobody can take away my legacy of making somebody else happier, better, inspired. Just a smile. Yeah. And that is feeling loved. And then when you feel loved is because you've learned to love yourself.
Absolutely.
That reminds me of being in Tanzania, Africa, and being so surprised at how we would be in the bus and be driving by, and you would see even grown men or women out there, and they would say, "Oh, smile and wave at them." And we're like, "What?" Okay, so we would, and they would be just kind of like walking along, all of a sudden they would like light up because a white person noticed them.
Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that beautiful that you can even share that with me? Because then again, I am learning from you, because no matter whether you're in Tanzania, I am learning because you're reminding me that every day, smile more, smile more. No matter what you encounter, smile more. Not even for others, because when you smile, you feel great. So that's a gift that we all, I don't know why, we don't do that often. I don't know. Isn't that what I told you about Hannah? It was not, and that's how then I learned more about leadership. Because it is not the factual tool, it is how we make people feel. That is leadership. That is how people will remember you. That is how you will remember that day, because you felt that you were giving, and they got your message. And that is abundance. That abundance nobody can take away from you. I have 3 children, and I brought them up by myself at a time in life that all the doors closed in regards to what I was facing because of an accident that I had that affected my brain. I had limitations. These limitations would entail simple things as not being able to cook right, because I had lost all my senses, so I couldn't taste what I would be cooking. And that for a mother, it is like so important, because you get so much joy by your kids enjoying what you've cooked, because that's all the love that you put into, and for them not only you're giving them healthy food, for them to give you back and say, oh, mother, this tastes so good. Only you make rice and beans the way that you make them.
Yes.
And that is fascinating. So not being able to do that, not being able, I don't want to use the word behave because it's not behavior. Since I had limitations, I was very irritable. So when they would come home from school and they would close a cabinet door, I would yell and scream because my personality had been changed because of these limitations in my frontal lobes and cognitive system. And in the days that I would be by myself in silence, I'll never forget the warrior that lives inside of all of us, because I would go to books to study. How can my brain function better? What is it that I can do to be better? What exercises can I do for my brain to be better? And this is where faith comes in. I mean, you might have the fear that you're not going to get better, but faith will take you to places that you are unstoppable. You are obsessed with being better and you never give up. And there will be days that I would get lost on my way to picking them up in school. And imagine my 3 kids, oldest being 13, youngest being 7. And the oldest was a boy, followed by another boy 3 years younger, and then my little girl 7. And mother not showing up at school. That life of uncertainty, that mother could not be any better, but I never gave up.
I want to back up and I want to just rewind just a little and take people to where you were, because this TBI, this traumatic brain injury, right? There are we have medical specialists who focus on these things now these days. Probably didn't as much back then, but can you take us back to where you were, for example, the week before the accident? Where were you working? I mean,
No, I had my own consulting firm.
You like to say that you were a corporate, you were in the corporate world, and that's true, but you were very successful in the corporate world. You were...
I was not only successful in the corporate world. Okay. So I was over 20 years in the corporate world. And what was fascinating is that I am extremely creative. I am extremely consistent. I am persistent. And I wanted to be president of a company. So I had my vision established. And I would break the rule in the corporate world because I would get up early in the morning, be there before 8 o'clock to make sure that I would talk to the people at the warehouse. I talked to the people that were leaving on other trucks for the day and say hello to everybody. So I started to learn at an early age what would entail to build a whole corporation, because I knew the functions of everybody. So that's what made me so successful in the corporate world. So I would continue to bring in new ideas. And it was so fascinating that at a given time, I brought up the first commercial in Puerto Rico, that it was a cartoon commercial. And it won even an award. But I remember at that time when I was with this chocolate company, that even the Swiss told me, you're going to put a little ant to savor that chocolate bar. And I said,
you mean an ant, like a
little ant, Seth. And I said, wait a minute, we have a bunny selling chocolate milk. You're going to tell me that we cannot create an ad that will sell, and how a little ant savors a chocolate bar. And that was all done in cartoons. And it was the #1 commercial. It was awarded. So I was like really happy with everything that I was accomplished. But then again, I had a vision. I wanted to be president of a company. So then, having done such a great job at this company that is very well known for chocolate.
Can we talk about that company?
Yeah, it's Nestle.
Okay, you were at Nestle.
Okay, so
you were at Nestle. guarding ants and insect rights to chocolate.
Oh, this is absolutely. I had a vision before even everybody had it in regard protecting the insects, right?
Before ants knew they loved chocolate.
Yeah. But it was even more fascinating, Seth, now that you mentioned that. I don't look Puerto Riqueña. So at that time, the Hispanic market is booming in the U.S. because a man had a vision, Don Franco Nanue, and he built a Goya company, which are very well known now in the States. And they would distribute the Nestle products, Nestle Livy, in the U.S. So can you imagine me with a truck driver at the Bronx, distributing and visiting bodegas at the 80s? And that's how I really captured the essence that it's not you, it's how you make people feel. Because you would get to the bodegas, how they would greet.
What's a bodega?
A bodega, it's like a small mom and pop store.
Okay, we're here in Puerto Rico here, so you might just...
Okay.
No, we love it.
Okay.
We're just doing a little Spanish lesson. So the mom and pop stores.
Yeah, the mom and pop store. So in the 80s, I would be visiting mom and pop stores. And it was fascinating to me how the owner of a bodega would greet the truck driver. And that's when I started to realize that it was the relationship that the truck driver, and this is very important for my future as I grow in the corporate world, the relationship of the truck driver and the bodega owner. That's what was so successful, and the vision that Don Franco Nanue had for the Goya company. So then Campbell Soup Company is looking at what's happening in the Hispanic world. And this is fascinating that they came to Puerto Rico and says, what the second brand to Goya? Casera. So they purchased Casera. And following that was like, who's the person that did the market and opening with Nestle Levi? Florence Larroca. So then I asked and they said, okay, this is yours. And of course, I wanted to be president. So there was a vision, a plan, and a plan of action. And I had to accomplish all of that. But I was all set to become president of Campbell's Hispanic Division, which was what I wanted. And as time progressed, that's when I realized that there were changes in my life, because I had 2 boys at that time. And then I had a boy, and then I had my second boy. And that's when I realized that, it was taking too much of my time. So I resigned. And I stayed as a consultant. So that's how I decided to start my own consulting firm. Fascinating. But Florence did not learn the lesson. I was not working for the corporate world. I was owning my own time. But then I was still, I would say, addicted to working. So then I would take care of my kids, but I wasn't really thinking that I had to invest in my time and also invest in time for our children. So the time came along that then I had the little girl. And that's when I decided, after 2 boys, my life is totally going to change. I was so happy that I was having control of my life, and I'm starting to manage my own time. I'm not telling you, Seth and Stephanie, that I was still there. I was trying. And it can happen to anybody, because October 6, 1999, I remember that I was wearing this suit with my grandfather. My grandfather was very well known in the business world here in Puerto Rico. One of his pins that he would wear in his tie, I would always wear it for a very important presentation. And that was the day that if I would close that deal, I would be on a plane the following day to get another line that it was related to health. Because not only I was a consultant, I was also the only distributor for a line of skincare products, and it was a cosmeceutical. Mm-hmm. And I was doing very, very well. I was starting to build, and I didn't know, a network marketing because I was doing it all by myself. And it was fascinating that I had a vision and that everything was working right. But there's something that we don't count that could happen to anybody. And October 6th of 1999, it was a very important day. So I picked up my daughter, and I wanted my daughter to be with me at my presentation. And because after that, we were going to go and celebrate. And that didn't happen because we got to the place, and being a mother and protecting your children is going to be everywhere in every step that we do. We call it like somos gallinas. We're like hens, and we protect our children. So I remember getting out of the car, and I'm in the sidewalk, and I tell Sofia, no, you go, my daughter's name is Sofia Beatriz, you go inside, because, you know, that's the way that mothers are, so you learn. So then
in the U.S., we call that being a mama bear, right?
A mama bear?
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that come out.
Okay, so then not only I said that, so we get to the place that I'm going to do the presentation, and it's a hair salon, and they said, no, it's across, that's where they do the nails. So we go there, and they said, no, it's not here, it's up there in a mezzanine. And I looked at Sofia, and I look at the spiral staircase, and I tell Sofia, Sofia, I'm mother hen. So mama gallina. So you go up, and I'm just right behind you because I don't like them. And I have to say this. You see how the Lord talks to us? Because I said I don't like them. 14 people had fallen before I did. So as I go up
that staircase?
In that staircase. So as I go maybe 14, 10, I can't remember the name. Yeah, but they had fallen. So as I go up 6 feet high, I felt backwards, and I know that this arm hit part of the rail, my hip, and then my head, because of the bruises that I had, hit the floor, and there's an open skull there. And I'm totally covered with blood. And because who doesn't believe in angels, I can tell you that they are present all around us. Because my daughter came down, and she only said that my aunt's telephone number, cell number, 1999, a cell number, and she said out loud, my sister's telephone number. So they called my sister, and they called, I was going through a divorce, and she also said her father's cell number. And fascinating enough that when my sister got there, she was again an instrument from the Lord, because the paramedics told her, we're losing her. So she shook me up and said, there's no deal here, Flo. We're going. Yeah, because I would try to, that's the state that you're in. It's like a combat state. I would try to bite you. I would spit. Yeah. So she shook me and says, there's no deal, Flo. We're going to Centro Medico. So that's where I was for 13 days. And then I went to my parents' room, 40 days in a dark room. Not even my children could come in.
At home.
At home. Where I grew up. Wow. They couldn't even come to see me because I'm a child inside an adult's body. I lost all my senses.
And you're in your 40s?
Yes. I'm 68 now. That was back in 99. So
24 years old. You're in your early 40s.
Yes. And I remember that I had a call as soon as I got home, and I was able to realize that I could go out of the house. And it's fascinating how the body wants to heal itself. And I asked my father. My father, to me, he always gave me light. he always planted a seed for me to be even more curious in regards to learning more about nature, learning more about science. Not only that, and you're both going to laugh, for Christmas I once asked him for a red submarine, and I was only 7. But he supported me with that. And he was an engineer, and I guess I was always a math person and science person. So we both like kind of belong to that universe. And I remember asking my father, and I said, Dad, if we're going to go out, the first place that I want to go is back to the hospital. And I went there because I did not recall being there. Not one bit. And I wanted to listen and for people to tell me what they went through when I was there. And they explained everything to me. And I cried. There were places that I would just sit and cry and cry and cry. We all have to have the faith that we can heal. We can heal from any emotional and any traumatic experience that we go through. But the first thing that the Lord told me is that you have to face what you went through and learn from it.
And that's why you wanted to go back to the hospital?
And that's why I wanted to go back to the hospital.
Repiece the puzzle?
Yeah, to repiece the puzzle. But now that you mention that, it's called post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. So I face that all the time. Let's say I started driving a year after that, and then I would see a police car, I would start screaming. You would see ambulance, you would start screaming, because all of that is in your head. But, you're given the freedom to read, to learn, to be better, to pray, affirmations, to think about what's happening in your inside. It is there. But it is extremely hard. And one of the places that I would always find, this is where I belong, it would be the ocean, the water. To go and swim, or to just look at the water and be in that silence and that peace. It's such a powerful body, and it has so much to learn from it. And because I would be very, very irritable. And then fascinating that as I'm going through that, it's very hard to accept who you are. It is a constant fight that you cannot understand, because you might want to say a word and another word comes up. And then people think that because you are under a TBI condition, you cannot understand what they're saying. And the gift, one of the biggest gifts that I was given was to lose all my senses. Why? Because then when you encounter life, you see things you did not see before. So as you grow into that, you don't lose that sensibility, that perception that it is lost as we become adults. Because I was thinking like a child, I would act like a child, and then Stephanie, because you have little girls, then you're diagnosed, when I think about that, oh, she's bipolar. And it wasn't me being bipolar, because for me to be out with my children at a grocery store, and for a mother in front of me to be yelling at a child, I would just go up to her straight and I would say, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Why are you yelling at your child? Do you know that doesn't feel good? I'm not telling her that is wrong. I'm just telling her that doesn't feel good. And then my kids would go up to me and say, Mother, we can't take you anywhere. I would even do that at Christmas time. We would be at a shopping center. I'll never forget that. And this is the time where Mario Brothers, and I would be in one of those stores that they sell those games. And I would look at children and I would just go like this. You know what? You and I feel the same way. I mean, I don't know why we're here. Why we're here, we don't know. If I would be you, I would feel so uncomfortable. Why do they bring us to these places? And
that's how I feel sometimes when I'm shopping.
Well, you know, and that's really fascinating. And up until today, that is a gift. Because I'll go places that I understand and I feel that I don't belong. I just say, I am so grateful to you, God, because I don't belong here. This doesn't belong to me. This is not my vibe. I don't feel joy. I don't feel happiness. I don't belong here. And you know who would tell me that even before my accident? My little girl, the one that was with me. She would always say things that would call my attention. For example, not my attention, even the school's attention. In Puerto Rico, it's very tradition that in May, when the rain comes down, we go out and we want to feel the rain because el agua es la primera lluvia de la Virgen María, like the first drops from the Virgin Mary. I don't know how to translate. Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay. So then my daughter in class says, no, the drops are divine because the first ones to touch them is God. So then I get a call by the teacher. And you see how children are so precious and how they can teach us so much about life as long as we let them live and live with a limitless imagination and let them live in the freedom that they are born with, but we as adults take it from them because we want them to live the life that we did not have. And that is not according to them. Let them live their life because they were given the miracle of life just like it was given to us. But for a given reason, we get kind of lost as we're trying to raise children. And we try to, because of what we hear in the media or what we hear from the people that we are friends with, that they think that by giving to our children, that is what's beautiful about life. And then we forget the biggest gift there is, life. And in order for you to share life, you have to share love. And it starts by loving yourself. If me as a mother, I would always, and it would always prevail, that I would love myself in order to love others and to love my children. That's why I was given the miracle of life. Doesn't matter whether it's biological or not biological. You know, we all could be mothers. We all can be mothers. And then as I'm going through this accident, I am really in pain because I would behave in a way that there was no solution to my children. That's not the mother that they dreamt. That's not the mother that they grew up with. That's not the mother that they saw that was so successful. And that's not the mother that she would even dress as an M&M when she would go to a birthday. And it was at that time of the year that you dress up. And that whenever they would have an accomplishment in school, I would come driving my car with stars. And I couldn't be that mother because I was kind of lost. And what holds you is the miracle of life and faith. That is it. Whoever in this world doesn't have any joy about life, it's because they don't carry faith within. And we have to nurture it. And how do we nurture it? I already said it. But then again, I nurture today my soul and spirit when I heard and say, Flo, go by this place. There's a tree day that has a lot of avocados. Maybe they've fallen down and you can go and take some. And then when you realize that we have so many gifts, then we just don't realize that we have them. And then that really happens. Well, then you go back and you just say, thank you. And it's really fascinating. So as time keeps going by, there was a time that I started to write and write and write and write.
After the accident?
After the accident, I wrote a lot.
What caused you to want to write?
When I would write, I could fear that they would be listening to me because I felt that nobody could understand what I would be going through. Or you see, when you take so many meds, the solution is, oh, this is because she didn't take her Zoloft. Oh, this is because she didn't take her Klonopin. She forgot to do this. Or she forgot to do that. But that is normal that they say that. Because sometimes you're just tired of taking so many medicines. And you're tired because you're told you have to learn to live with your conditions. And then there's no future for you. But I have forgotten something. Because people like you, they knew Flo before and after, and they believed in Flo. They called me and said, Flo, you know what? Come and work for me for 2 hours or 3 hours. And they knew my weaknesses, and they knew when there was already the meds were not taking effect, because I would become jumpy and irritable, and they knew, and then they would say, Flo, let's go out and let's have lunch, and then I think it's about time you take your medicine. I had forgotten about that, and I want to thank those people that say, we're here to help you because we love your work. And when you think about that, they're really the ones that are here to protect us. No matter what you're going through in life, there are others that will help you. Don't close the doors, because sometimes we feel like, oh, no, I have this and I have that. But I told them and I said, listen, I'm going through all of this. And I'm so grateful to them because they would open the door and they would nurture my spirit. Not only that, they would put me on a plane on first class to go to Atlanta and do their shopping. You see, I could not be under any stress whatsoever. And isn't that a dream world, right? Because if I would be under stress, that's when I would get jittery. I would have panic attacks.
The PTSD starts.
It starts really.
Manifests itself.
It manifests itself. So I've always been extremely creative, and I'm really good negotiating. So she knew that I was my strength.
You're a great shopper. Creativity, negotiation, and a free ticket to Atlanta.
Yeah. So to me, and then I would look at lines that then I would negotiate, and with the owner of the company to have them exclusive here in Puerto Rico.
So we're not talking about doing personal shopping. We're talking about going there and as a buyer.
As a buyer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was, not as a personal, as a buyer, sorry. So I was a buyer with her, and she had a boutique here in one of the leading boutique shopping centers. And it was beautiful because in a way, I would be nurturing my creativity because I would see things that I would consider unique. And then that uniqueness, again, would come about in my strength in negotiation. And then she would be so happy with all those lines that were new, and then how we would present them, and it was a lot of fun. So
was that part of your therapy?
I'm sorry?
Do you think that was part of the therapy to help you?
Not only was part of my therapy, but I think that that's what the universe allows, because opportunity doesn't happen. Opportunity comes to you once you align yourself with, being aligned with this beautiful life and the Lord, because He wants everything that you want in life to happen to you, but it will only happen if you allow it to happen. So recognizing my weaknesses and telling that to people, I had, and that is confidence when you think about it. And then I had no worries about it. And so I am really grateful to Raquel is her name, and I used to work at her shop. I am really grateful to a leader in construction in Puerto Rico. And that he gave me the opportunity to be like I'm not a realtor, I am not licensed, but I would be like the host at the houses of new complex of very upscale houses in outside San Juan that would start over $500,000. And fascinating enough that I got to sell 2 of them, but I would not sell them. What I would do is create the environment and make it the place that they really want to start a family. And then the realtor would come in, and that's how you would close the deals. But then 2008 is coming along, and all of that, and the economy went down. So that only lasted for a year. After that, I started to get worse. That's when I started to realize that, or facing my illness, because I have not mentioned it. My levels of clonopine were so high. My restless syndrome was so bad that I would get up at night and kick the walls. So it's really bad. And to think that when I would have seizures, it would be my daughter, the one that would go to the room. And I would even, once I had to have stitches. So think about, first I'm going back. I had a nurse, but there's no bank account because all my savings were gone because there's no bank account. But then again, my parents, my family, even my high school classmates, they built a fund to help me. So, towards 2010, 2011, I was really downhill. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. But then something happened. Magic does happen. Because again, opportunities will come as long as you keep on nurturing your faith. And that's all you have to do. And surround yourself with the right people. And it was my brother-in-law that he called me one day. And he says, Flo, please don't hang up. Listen to what I have to say.
Why did he say don't hang up? Had you hung up on him before?
Yeah, because I was very irritable in my personality. And it would change. You see, that's how they would say, oh, she's bipolar, or she's irritable, or they have to give her another soul off, things like that. I'm so grateful because look at me today. So he says, please don't hang up the phone. So he says, Flo, I want you to watch an ABC primetime news report. And I'm not going to explain anything to you. But the only thing that I have to tell you is that I've been taking that yellow pill for 3 months and I'm going to take it for life. And I know that it's going to help you. And I said, but what is it? And I said, I'm not going to explain it to you. You're going to get a call. And please take that call. And this is the number that you're going to get it from. And interestingly enough, because I remember reading a lot about the brain. I can't remember the title of the book right now, but I know that it would come with CDs. And it's written by a lot of doctors. But anyways, so I looked at the video and the only thing that I said was, thank you. I didn't understand. But then a doctor here in Puerto Rico, Dr. Felix, called me. And he says, why don't we meet at a local bakery, very well known, Casalta, and we get there. So when we got there, he looks at me and he says, do you watch the video? Do you have any questions? And then I started asking him a lot of questions. And then he says, you know what? I don't get it. Because based on all the pharmaceuticals that you take, how can you be asking me all these questions? I'll never forget. And I said, Dr. Felix, you know, there are lapses in the day that I'm functional. So this is my moment.
How many meds were you on? How many pharmaceuticals?
Okay, Solov de Pacote, Mirapex, Dilantin, Capricorn, 7 or 8 a day.
Wow.
And for a varied number of symptoms, right? For 13 years?
Yes. What symptoms that I have? I had memory loss. I had permanent damage in my frontal lobes, cognitive system. I had migraines. I had seizures, restless leg syndrome. I lost all my senses. And when you talk about, I really didn't understand what, I don't know, when you tell somebody, oh, you have permanent damage from your frontal lobes and cognitive system, and then irritable is because my sensibility in hearing, because I couldn't walk into any place that there would be noise. And that's in the panic attacks. So I would be taking all those meds. So I'm glad that you asked that, because this is what I love about how perfect the body is. So fascinating enough that I met with Dr. Felix and I asked him all these questions. And then we ordered the yellow pill. And then 5 days after I was taking that pill, my kids come up to me and say, Mother, you fell asleep. You say, even my kids were responsible for giving me the meds. So what was really fascinating is that they said, Mother, we didn't have to give you the medicine to sleep. And I went, what? So they don't know about the yellow pill or anything. So then I called Dr. Felix. And because I actually read something about it, right? But I really didn't understand. I only knew that it said NR2 synergizer. So then Dr. Felix goes, Flo, hi, how are you? How's everything? And I said, can I take more than one?
That's a question that you would ask.
Yeah.
Can I take more than one? And then he says, well, I'm going to explain to you this way. You have fire of free radicals inside your body. Tú tienes un fuego, un incendio of free radicals inside your body. Would you put it out with a Dixie cup or with a fire hose? And I said, a fire hose. I can understand that, right? And he says, 3 a day. So I'm taking 3 a day. And what was fascinating is that I started to notice different things in me. For example, that I would have more of a schedule in doing things. Before, I mean, there would be no beginning or an end. You know, you can't tell.
You were a free radical.
I was a free, that's a good one. I like how to explain it. I was a free radical. So I'm starting to be from point A to point B in picking up my kids in school. But I noticed something very important, and it was important to them. And it was that I would not get jittery when I would just see a police car driving by. And I would say, because something that I did not mention. So you know the extent of being, how sensible, is that how you say it?
Sensitive?
Sensitive I was, because in school, I would cry when I would see mothers telling their kids how bad their grades are, or you forgot a book. I even had to redo my schedule when I talk to my psychiatrist, my psychologist, they would say, no, for you to pick up the kids in school, you have to go at a later hour. Because to me, I could not handle the stress, what happens with parents picking up school and grades and things like that. Because again, I would cry. Because why am I mentioning that? Because then I started to be more functional in my relationship with people. That's the first thing that I noticed. And that, again, about post-traumatic stress disorder, I did not get as jittery. And as I would start feeling better, do I need to take Zoloft or don't I? I'm reading all the side effects of these medicines. I'm going to stop taking them. And I started by the 4th month to stop taking Zoloft, Keppra, by 4th month. Depakote, those are all about seizures. Nobody told me to do that. And nobody told me to do that. But my body, and that's the message that comes from above, was telling me, Flo, you don't need to take that. You don't need to take that. So by the 4th month, I was off my meds. So then again, Flo is back. And then I go to visit my doctors. By that time, I had read Washington State University. Washington State University, NRF2, Raising the Levels of NRF2, about 5 times. So
you had some ammunition for these doctors. How did these doctors take this? I mean, were they happy for you? Were they scared? Were they antagonistic?
I'm glad that you asked that, because I had to learn that they did not know anything about NRF2 activation. Nothing at all, to the extent that I said, would you like to go to PubMed.gov? And they said, no, but you can't stop taking Zoloft. You can't stop taking chlorpheniramine. They're addictive. I mean, they're addictive. And I said, well, I can show you a video where you have the creator of the NRF2 activator tells you what happens when you start, getting rid of all those 3 free radicals. And when I say Flo is back, I told them, you know what? I have a copy here. Would you read it? And they said, oh yes, leave it. And this is Flo. And I said, I'll leave it if you sign here that you'll read it. Because if not, I'm not going to leave it. Because it's going to be a waste of time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You see, that is posture. Because I am coming from a severe head injury. I've been ill for 13 years. And I have been giving hope. And you're telling me that you're not even going to look at it? And I still would go and visit those doctors. But guess what? Now, Flo, 2023, it's not their time. It's not their time. And I'm not here to teach or convinced. I have the gift of life, and I'm here to share it. I can only share how the body works if it's of your interest. If it isn't, like it happened just a couple of hours before coming up here, somebody down at the lobby was interested to talk about life. So after 4 months, I started to feel different, better, and stuff. That is a new miracle. Want to know why? Because I want to learn more in how I can make myself better. How can I make myself better? Should I start eating differently? And then I start learning more about affirmations. Starting back to read even the Bible. And what's fascinating is why wasn't I doing that before? Maybe it was not my time. So then opportunities start coming to me, that I'm doing better, and there is hope. There is a vision. There is future for Mom and her 3 children. And I knew that I was going to be better. Not really, 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 really better, because I realized that I was going to be the person that I am today back in 2017, because another activator came along. And that's when I was able to recognize that our potential is limitless. Because initially, because of feeling better and be able to be cognitive better and be able to have a bit of better memory. But when my power plants, my mitochondria, started to be activated, and this hasn't to do with being a better person. It's like all of a sudden one day, you just go like, it's like an aha moment that you actually have like a different dimension in your brain. And you start to be more efficient in time, that then your kids will tell you, Mother, you didn't get lost on the way here. You didn't get lost on the way there. Mother, did you recognize that you were able to complete a thought? You see, before, I didn't mention anything about completing sentences, but I was more cognitive. But when your friends, you're at a party and they're telling you, wow, Flo, what's happening with you? Do you know that you're being able to carry a conversation? And that's when I realized that there was future for me. And this in 2017. So
I was going to say something, Flo. I think you represent a relatively small number of people. Relatively, I'm not talking about 5 or 10 people or even 100 or 200, but the thousands. I think you represent really you're a pioneer with a dramatic story as we're going through a technological change in healthcare. I had a friend, I want to say it was within last year, it might have been 2023, late 2022, from Thailand, from Bangkok. He sends me this article. And I say that because, we're here in Puerto Rico. We live in Utah. He was in Bangkok. But what's happening, especially with communication, the internet, social media, I think helps, the connectivity, just of all of the research hubs. You mentioned PubMed. But he sent me this article about the technologies that are going to change our next generation. And I have respect for professionals who've gone to school, and yet you also had to tell those doctors, listen, this is my body. This is my health. You can't tell me what I haven't experienced. So while I appreciate your professional care, like I'm the CEO, right, of my body. But even I think doctors and many healthcare professionals just haven't, they're running in a different realm, right, in patient care. And there's this whole scientific health technology that's running almost parallel, separate in some cases. And anyway, this article was about the 12 disruptive technologies in the next generation, in our generation, right? In the next, let's say 5, 10, 20 years. Things like AI, right? Think about how AI is going to change the world. And I think about how cell phone, we're recording this podcast on a couple of cell phones that have better quality than cameras did 20 years ago. Technology is going to change the world, right? Well, among AI and self-driving cars and solar energy and energy storage solutions and the internet as that grows, and Wi-Fi, etc. only one of these technologies has anything to do with human health. And I think it's really your story. But the analysts, scientists call it next generation genomics. So we have this current health system, we'll even say Western medicine, right? Which is super powerful, right? I mean, let's say it was part of your journey, right? You needed it, but there's also this new vein of research, which is kind of interconnected and yet running parallel with Western allopathic medicine, right? Diagnose, and then medicate. And that's about something you said of what if the body already has all the capacity. What if we could activate it? What if because of what we know about our genes, we could actually do something about that? So for those who are listening, I think that's what you're referring to when you talk about activation. But it's a big thing. I don't know, here we are in 2023, or you've been activating for 8 years or whatever. Who knows, what's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years. But I think that you're one of those personal pioneers as we shift into a new really age of wellness and health. So
no, and I'm so happy to hear you say that. I'm learning from both of you, because as you're saying that, I take the responsibility. So that I am a pioneer in this genomics, which is the future. And we got to be preventive
mindset.
A preventative mindset in regards to how we have to take care of our bodies. Because I want to live longer. So I have to learn more and more, because I choose to live longer. Because I choose to help others, because this is the only life I have, the only one I know, and I love it. And why not share this with others? So, you mentioning genomics, you made me think, because that's the mind, what would have been of me? Whoa.
If you weren't.
If I wouldn't have been activated. What would have been of me? What would have been of my children? Because to think that this past November, I was able to, go over to Vail, Colorado from Puerto Rico. My 3 children, they live in the States. My second son, he's a physiatrist in Little Rock, Arkansas. We celebrated the wedding over in Vail, Colorado. They celebrated, and we're talking about genomics. I was able to spend time with them, quality time, enjoy life to the fullest. So that's what I'm saying. What would have been of me if I wouldn't have been activated? And this is a responsibility that we have to share, because there is a better way in life. And people don't know about it, Seth and Steph. They don't know about it. And if they don't know about it, how can they take care of their children? Because it is a reality. Maybe I had the opportunity to go through this phase of 13 years because of severe TBI. But where I am today, where my spirit and soul will take me tomorrow, is limitless. And if I have to go through it again, I'll go through it again, because where I am today is what I love. And that's the only place I know today, my present time. But my future, I know it's going to be better, because I choose for it to be better. And then as we're talking about activation, and it's really fascinating, the journey, because the science of activation hasn't stopped. And then 2019 comes along, and I remember coming to from Puerto Rico, all the way, was it in Cancun, that we shared again another breakthrough, which is longevity. And I've been giving the opportunity, I've been sharing information that has proven, and I can give my testimonial, and I'm giving my testimonial, that it is the future of health, because that's the way the body works. Why not help our bodies? Why do you how do you say it in English? ¿Por qué te niegas? Why do you, negar is that you don't give yourself. Negar is from the word negative. Like when you don't, negar.
Now we enter the Spanish portion of our class.
Oh, okay. Negar is when you don't you don't give yourself that gift. Why? Well, you know why? Because it's not the right time for you. You don't choose the healthy path, the healthy journey. Because you choose what you want to be. You choose how you want to be. In Spanish, I call it the 3 C's. I call it
the 3 C's.
Okay, las 3 C's, which are the 3 C's.
Mm-hmm.
Cree, crea, construye. Crea is believe. If you can believe in yourself, you will create. And if you create, you will build. And you will continue to build and build. But it always has to start. And every day we're creators. We're creators of every habit, action, vision that we have in our lives. And we have to do that. And it has to change every time because it keeps on evolving and evolving and evolving. And I'm really grateful to this journey. And I wouldn't be me today if it wasn't for the faith and the guidance from the one that gave me the miracle and by all of you, because you have nurtured my soul and spirit, because I choose, and I choose all of you, and I choose all of you. And that is what this miracle is all about, because my abundance is built by the love that I allow for you to share with me, because only I decide who will give me. But I have my arms all open because I want to share my love with all of you. And it's here, like the same way that I have it here, all of you have it. And why do people don't believe in that joy?
So I think we're just going to ask a few questions, Flo, and these are kind of just, we'll just kind of ask, you'll give an answer, we'll go to the next question, kind of a thing.
Okay.
It's these here.
Okay. So what does self-care mean to you?
It starts by taking care of myself, meaning first and utmost spiritually.
So it's not, just bath bombs.
Stuff that didn't even cross my mind when you asked for it.
Well, a lot of people, especially nowadays, they do think of that. They're thinking self-care is me going, taking a bubble bath, and relaxing.
Pampering yourself.
Pampering.
Which, I mean, that's...
It can.
Okay.
But to go deeper, is kind of where we're going right now.
Okay, no, but to me, self-care.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, I invest in my self-care. Like I mentioned spiritually, because I know that I'm going to look prettier if I'm prettier in the inside. So that is a fact.
Amen. We're done.
Cut. That was awesome.
That was amazing.
Oh.
You can keep going. You can keep going.
We're just kidding. We're not done.
Oh. I didn't even know that we were recording. Okay, but anyways, so when you talk about self-care,
yes.
So I'm going to tell you a bit about Flo. I mean, when I was 16, I was already going to a gym that they would do like the massage and all of that. And why would I do that? Again, I mentioned before something about my grandfather. My father had books of yoga. So I knew that health was important. So to me, I've always taken care of myself. And then again, self-care. It is so important in regards to what I project is what you're going to see. My beauty comes from the inside, but I like to have my hair done well. I like to take care of myself. I like to, for example, right now in regards to self-care, last year and the year before was a total journey about my teeth. And somehow it didn't work out and they took all of my teeth here. So I have in my bucket list that I want all my front teeth done correctly. Why? Because I want to have a perfect smile. So, but self-care, again, it comes from within. I cannot see how you consider yourself so beautiful when you're allowing how beautiful you're going to be in the hands of somebody else, because beauty is never in the outside. You know, some women, Seth, wonder, wow, how come that man married that lady? I mean, look at him. And I just go like, oh, she's empty inside. Why? Because she is beautiful. You know, people look at you, and when they look at you, they see how beautiful you are inside. And that is self-care. But, I said but, and then we say, however, self-care. So what is my routine if you want to know? Okay, I'll tell you.
Glad you asked.
Okay, so because I do take self-care seriously. For example, I took a shower this morning before going to church, right? But then I was going to come here. So then I say, okay, I take a towel and I wash my face with our gel. And then I take a cloth and I'm getting all the dead cells out. Mm-hmm. So with that, and then I take a perfecting lotion, which to me is like an elixir. I mean, that product it's excellent. And I just have it in a bottle and I spray it, pop, 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 even to here. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going like, I don't dry it or anything. I do my eyebrows. And then, comes a magic serum. And I take the eye serum and I go here. And I go here, and because your skin is humid, I go like this, and I go like this, and I go like this. And if there's a bit more, because there's a lot of perfecting lotion, I go with that same thing here. And then after that, if you haven't heard of it, you better hear from it now. True Renew. You know, the word is excellent. And me coming from marketing and being in marketing for more than 20 years, because True Renew, it's a renewal of me. I'm going to renew my self-care. So now the True Renew has come along. I love it. I love it. I love it because I'm being more intentional in the way that I'm taking care of my skin.
Skin firming complex. I love it, actually. Surprisingly, I'm surprised at how much I love it.
Okay. And guess what? How much I love it? Then after that, the anti-aging cream. Fascinating. Not as fascinating that when you go to a dinner party and people say, I mean, is it your hair? What is it that you do different? I mean, Flo, your skin. And I'm going, well, it's True Renewal. But again, isn't it fascinating how you were talking about genomics before and you stuff, and how is it fascinating that before we were talking about how we can keep our bodies and our genomes working correctly and our body clean. And then how we can do that with our largest organ, our skin. And it is working divine. And can I say something that most companies wouldn't like, and they do a lot of business on that? Well, I don't have to wear any powder, nothing. It's just flawless skin. Flawless skin. Yeah, but isn't that beautiful when you just feel like you're so natural? I guess that I'm in that crowd. The more natural I am, and the more happy and content I am, because that's me.
If you were to give some advice to your 20-year-old self, what would that advice be?
Listen to your inner self. Listen to your heart, because that's your intuition, and that comes from above. And we know, I don't know why we don't listen to it that frequently, because that's your soul speaking to you. Mm-hmm. And the more you practice it, the more you get addicted to it. And then how does that happen? It starts by being grateful. You start being grateful and you say your prayers, you say your affirmations, and all of a sudden you get all these messages and reminding you what you had planned the day before to make sure that you're more intentional and you don't forget. And that is not memory. Because you have your schedule written down, but a spark comes out to remind you to do this better or to do it more intentionally. So the equation would be, again, listen to your heart. So it speaks every day. But to let that happen, you start by being grateful. And after you be grateful, you say your prayers. But I do believe that we all, if you want to make it happen, and I'm not completing there the sentence, but you want to make things happen, you have to have a plan. And your plan can be better and make it better that same day when you listen to your inner self.
And cut. It's a wrap.
Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for sharing this episode with that one friend who needs this conversation. Thank you for all the ratings, the reviews, the comments, and especially the support. We so appreciate you.
Now, if you want to take a peek behind the curtain and be the first to know about special previews, backstage updates here at the show, and especially some private collection content that doesn't come out in the regular show,
be sure to join our VIP community at theforeveryoungshow.com.